Hi guys, today I am filming this video. This is going to be all the changes I've gone through this year. This video is going to be a lot of talking, it's going to be really long, and I'm sorry to my future self for having to edit this video. I just wanted to talk about all the changes I've gone through this year because in contrast to how I was before as a person, it's completely different. I wanted to make this video because I always felt so discouraged growing up, and I felt like a lot of people around me didn't actually bring me up or believe in me. A lot of the times I was actually told that I wouldn't be able to do a lot of things because of certain things, and it really held me back. You can be this person that you strive to be. You don't have to listen to what everybody else is telling you. And while I know these people in my life told me these things because they care about me, it doesn't mean that they're always right. I did all of this on my own without really any support from anybody else. Not that everybody was kind of discouraging me, but a lot of people did. And obviously I will go into more depth about each of these things in later videos. And I also wanted to make these videos not so serious because a lot of these topics are really serious, and I don't know, I'm a fun person. I'm not serious about 80% of the time. And so without further ado, I'm going to talk about all the changes I've gone through this year. The first major change I made was I started eating a plant-based vegan diet. If you guys didn't know, before I ate literally the worst diet ever. I used to eat fast food probably like 3 or 4 times a week at least. And this was due to my lifestyle. I was working a lot. I was working a job where I would work 12-hour days sometimes. It was just a really depressing time for me. And so because of that, my body was just super unhealthy. Even though I'm vegan and some fast food places do carry vegan food, I would never in a million years eat fast food unless it was like I'm gonna starve otherwise. Going vegan was really crazy to me. I didn't think it was possible for me to do it. You know, I always thought it was like too expensive or too much work or whatever. But in reality, it's not. When you start learning about all the different types of produce and plants out there, you realize that our society is just kind of limiting what we do eat. People don't even realize how many different types of kale there are, or avocados, or just anything. There's constantly produce I'm eating here, and people are like, what is that? Like, what are you eating? Because people don't know. People don't have knowledge of how many other foods there are out there besides animal foods, and it's really discouraging and really upsetting to learn these things. I didn't jump full in on the vegan diet because, you know, I'm not crazy. I actually started eating a lot more plant-based. I was still eating like eggs and cheese and chicken. That didn't really help, to be honest. I still had these horrible cravings where I would just want to binge on chocolate chip cookies, and then I would be like so sick from it. Once I went vegan and once I went through the detox phase, which people don't seem to talk about this a lot, there's a major detox phase, whether you're going, you know, from meat eater, fast food, straight to vegan, or gradually going into it, you're going to have a detox phase. Mine lasted probably about a month, and it was horrible. Trust me, it's really horrible. But once I got past that detox phase, I don't crave fast food anymore. I don't crave animal products, and it's fine. It's actually extremely easy once you get past that point. And I feel like that's what people fail to realize. Also, going vegan, I have learned how to cook for myself. I was always making like Hot Pockets and like canned soup and stuff that's just horrible for you. And so going vegan, obviously nobody else was gonna cook dinner for me. And I had horribly disgusting meals for like the first few months. But after that, after I started watching more vegan YouTubers making really simple meals. I will link some of my favorite vegan YouTubers down below, like the simplest recipes ever. Once I started learning how to cook for myself, it became really, really easy. That was probably one of the biggest changes I made this year. It completely changed my body in ways that I didn't even think were possible. I think people really underestimate the power of plant foods and just eating hydrating foods. I think that's probably like the most important aspect of it all. Next change that I made was I started being more active. This included doing yoga every single day. Now, there were some days in a couple months where I skipped doing yoga, and those were literally like the worst months of my life. Like, everything was so much more stressful, and I just had so much more anxiety than I normally do. But once I started getting back into doing yoga daily, it just calms me down in ways that I didn't even think were possible. And there's another change I made, which I'm going to talk about next, which is one of the main reasons why I was able to do yoga this year and I couldn't before. Doing yoga is like my form of meditation because it's really hard for me to actually meditate. Taking that time to be calm and breathe and just move my body and stretch and be flexible. It's a really fun, relaxing way for me to get in a little bit of physical workout, create a little heat, but also stretching my body. It has helped my anxiety in so many ways, so much more than like any drug or whatever could ever do for you. So if you have anxiety, I highly recommend doing yoga. I use the Yoga by Adriene videos. Her videos are amazing and she's hilarious. I love that she doesn't do every move way too fast or take things too seriously like a lot of other yoga videos do. She has such a wide variety of them, so I will link her channel down below as well. Next major change I made this year, and it wasn't necessarily me that made this change, but it was me deciding I wanted to make this change. I got a septoplasty. If you don't know what that is, basically a nose job. I had an extremely deviated septum. At some point when I was younger, my nose was broken. Nobody told me, and so it grew weird. It grew very crooked, and I was not able to breathe out of this nostril, and I was only able to breathe 30% out of this nostril. Eventually I started having major sleeping problems because I couldn't breathe at night, and I remember I would wake up like gasping for air and I would have to use an inhaler because I wasn't getting enough oxygen, and it just made me feel so horrible. I was getting headaches every single morning, felt like I needed to throw up every single morning because there was lack of oxygen when I was sleeping at night. It was actually really unhealthy. I decided, since now I have medical insurance, to take the plunge and get surgery for my nose. And if you guys don't know, surgery is actually, or was actually, my #1 fear. Being completely out of control of my own body is like something that terrifies me because I don't trust other people, and I don't really trust medical doctors. It was definitely a really scary experience, but once it was over, I was like, okay, that wasn't a big deal at all. Since then, my nose feels so great. I can breathe out of it very well, and because I can breathe out of it very well, it's a lot easier for me to do yoga, whereas before I was not really getting enough oxygen for my muscles, and so it made yoga just not enjoyable for me at all. So since I got that surgery, I am able to breathe a lot better. I can run now, I can exercise, I can do physical activity things that I never thought I would be able to do. I'm really glad that I decided to stop being a baby and get my nose fixed, because now I can breathe and live a much happier life because of it. The next major change I made was I stopped wearing makeup. Now I have makeup on in this video. You can probably tell I put makeup on to film most of my videos, but that is pretty much the only time I wear makeup like this. I probably worn makeup about 10 times this year out of the whole year, and most of those times I was filming a video or I was visiting. Sometimes when I would visit family and friends, I would wear makeup too, and that was it, because we were taking pictures. I didn't wear makeup at all this year, which was very strange for me because I went from being obsessed with makeup to never wearing it ever. And I can't even imagine how bad my skin would have been if I kept trying to force foundation on my face every single day. It was really hard for me to kind of realize that makeup wasn't really, it was pointless. You go out in the street here and people don't care about how you look. I don't know, I feel like Hawaii is a lot less judgmental on how people look. It's who cares? Who cares? You're just gonna sweat it all off. I just found makeup to be completely pointless in Hawaii. I realized how bad it was for your skin and how pointless it was for me to get dressed up when literally nobody cares. I think it was really good for my skin, but I think it was also really good for me to kind of accept the way I look, even with my acne. And since I've been accepting the way my skin looks right now, it's actually been getting a lot better. It's actually been healing a lot faster. Another thing I changed this year was I quit taking all medication, birth control, antidepressants, and even vitamins. I stopped taking all of that stuff because honestly, that stuff does more damage to your body than good. If you guys watched my video, Everything Has Changed, you will know that I was prescribed a birth control. That was not what I thought it was because, medical doctors, people think that they can do everything right. They really don't. Basically, this last year, I was taking double the amount of hormones my body was ever used to taking. It was wreaking havoc on my body. I was literally on the verge of dying, because of this birth control pill. I felt like this birth control pill literally progressed my body. Like, yeah, I would have ended up that unhealthy if I kept eating the way I was, but I feel like the birth control pill just made it go by a lot faster, so I was a lot unhealthier more quickly, and it just completely ruined my body. Now that I've been off the pill for about a year, I get the worst cramps ever. I've never gotten cramps or migraines during my period as bad as I get them now. Before, I thought those cramps were so horrible, so awful, and I would take an ibuprofen and be like, oh, I'm in so much pain. No, that was nothing. Now it literally feels like my whole body's just like, it's literally like squeezing my organs and like, oh my God, it's the worst feeling ever. And it gets so painful to the point where sometimes I have to take half of the painkiller left over from my surgery because I am in that much pain. The birth control pill actually made my symptoms worse. It made my menstrual cycles so much more unbearable, and so in reality, it doesn't actually cure anything. It makes it 10 times worse after, so thanks. Now, I stopped taking my vitamins and antidepressants, frankly, because I feel like my psychiatrist was literally just trying to force me drugs that weren't gonna help me at all. She kept trying to put me on antidepressants, and I kept trying to tell her several times, I'm not highly depressed, I have anxiety. And for some reason, she thought to prescribe me antidepressants that cause more anxiety. And at that point, she also wanted to give me an antidepressant. I don't know what they're called. I think they're called SSRIs. And it's basically like, if you take this, your body becomes addicted to it. So if you just stop taking it, it really messes you up and makes you like even more crazy. And I actually was reading a statistic that a lot of those antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications only work about 30% of the time. Can you imagine how many people are being prescribed antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication, and only 30% of it's working? Not to mention, every time I took that pill in the morning, it made me nauseous, it made me feel awful, and it probably exacerbated my stomach issues. Safe to say, I only took one of those SSRI antidepressants and threw the rest away because I'm not an idiot and I'm not depressed, lady. And then the reason I stopped taking a lot of the vitamins I was taking was because those synthetic made vitamins are not actually properly absorbed by your body. You're gonna get those vitamins and nutritions through plant-based foods. You're not gonna get those vitamins and nutrients in a synthetic form. Your body's not gonna absorb it very well. And so I kind of gave those up as well. I do still take a B12 and vitamin D3 supplement. I take it in liquid form though, because it's absorbed by your body a lot better. And frankly, I just hate swallowing pills. Like, it's just one of the worst feelings ever. I'm completely medication free and I feel great. Another change I made, and this kind of goes along with the no makeup thing, I stopped using all conventional body care products, meaning like I changed my shampoo, my laundry detergent, my body wash, all my skincare stuff, my cleaning products, anything that was going to come in contact with my skin or something that I was going to be basically inhaling. After I had stopped using these products for such a long time, I actually went back and tried these products in my skin later and realized that my skin had such an adverse reaction to them and immediately begun to sting or itch. I think that I had that reaction because I think everybody from such a young age, from like an infant, given these products, you know, baby shampoos and all these other products made for babies, actually have horrible chemicals in them. And so we're being exposed to that from such a young age. So as we age and we keep using these products, of course they're not going to bother our body because our body's used to having these products put on them, these irritating products. Our body's used to it. So when you stop using them and try to use them again, they hurt. We'll make a whole video talking about like natural care products because I feel like that's the number one thing people need to just ditch out of their life, because honestly, like, it's destroying your body. And especially for women are so about like our looks and our hair and our makeup. And it's like, you're literally putting these things on your body that are destroying your skin, destroying your body, destroying so many things. Like, anything you put on your skin gets absorbed immediately through your bloodstream. So pretty much everything I use is either from food or it's chemical free. And since then, I have noticed that I just live a happier life. Another change I made this year was I started getting into minimalism and the waste-free lifestyle. I'm not a minimalist by any means, as you can see from my room. However, I do try to live as minimal as possible, especially because of my life before. I used to have like 3 walk-in closets full of clothes, like just such an obscene amount of clothes that I didn't even like most of the time. And I just had piles of just crap and stuff and just things that added no value to my life whatsoever. And I just kept these things because I don't know, I had some weird attachment to things and like couldn't let things go, or there were memories attached to those things and I couldn't let them go. And one day I just thought, this is so stupid. I'm tired of having all this stuff and nowhere to put it. So Neil and I got rid of about half of the things that we owned. Since then, I have a donate box and I'm constantly putting things in there because personally, like, I just don't want a bunch of crap for that just in case moment, because does that moment even really happen? Things have been really awesome. We have so much room in this house. We don't have any boxes laying out. Our last house, we have piles and piles of boxes because we had so much stuff and nowhere to put it. And even Neil's friend, when he came to visit us, he actually noticed how much cleaner and how much less stuff we had, which is really awesome that other people are noticing too, because it was a lot of work. And I feel like that kind of goes with the waste-free lifestyle as well, because with minimalism, you are trying to not waste a lot of things. Use items like Ziploc bags or parchment paper or even paper towels. Like, one-use items cost a lot of money actually. We just realized not only how wasteful this was for the environment, but how much money it was costing us. For example, like, instead of using parchment paper, we now have a silicone sheet that we wash and use over and over and over again, and we do have to replace those every year or so, but it's so much better than having and going and buying parchment paper and using it and then throwing it in the garbage immediately after. We've also switched to using cloth bags instead of Ziploc bags. We still have Ziploc bags for items like onions and stuff, but we are always washing those bags and reusing them. We don't use paper towels anymore either. Paper towels are such a big waste of money. While we do still have paper towels for those just in case moments, like when the cat throws up everywhere, we try to just have one paper towel roll, recycled, of course, because I'm a hippie. But we're not using paper towels to clean the house or wipe things down. We have towels now that we reuse, and it just makes me feel better about what I'm doing for the environment and saves us a lot of money. I would just like to point out, because of all this, it's caused my shopping addiction to be almost non-existent now. While I still do like purchasing clothes and stuff from Amazon, I kind of have an Amazon addiction. I'm not spending money on stupid things like clothes and makeup and things that literally cannot benefit anybody but my own personal ideas. You know, the things we're purchasing now are food or things that Neil and I can both benefit from and use, or I'm purchasing secondhand clothing so I'm not going and paying money to buy new clothes that are poorly made. It's just really raised the quality of my life. So the last change I wanted to mention is something that I feel like was probably the most important change I made, while the vegan one is probably like the most important, and quitting the birth control, I guess. I don't know, they're all important. This is probably gonna sound very hippy-dippy to a lot of people, but it's personally what I believe, and it just feels right. So this year, I kind of realized that I have been a very negative person my whole life, and I always kind of knew this. If things were good, they weren't great. It was always like whatever. My family is so complicated. Luckily now things have like kind of settled and people aren't having such hissy fits anymore, but it is very stressful to go your whole life where everything is just so negative all the time and everybody's complaining, and it really shapes you into this kind of like, I don't know, mean, I guess, or just negative person. I just didn't realize how pessimistic I actually was about a lot of things, and that it was just hurting me inside. It was actually making me more of an angry person, and when you put a lot of negativity out in the world, you're gonna get a lot of negativity back. Like, things aren't gonna work out the way you want because you're not putting that good energy in the world, so why are you gonna get good energy back? Looking back at the way I reacted to things back then, I just realized how stupid and childish a lot of things are, and I understood that it was really hard for me to be positive in a lot of situations because other people made it so impossible to be positive. But in the end, that doesn't matter. And all the like BS I went through when I was younger and stuff like that, it doesn't matter, because honestly, that all happened for a purpose. And I realized that too, is that everything, even like the worst things that happen to you, are all for a purpose. Looking at things from that perspective just makes things work out a lot better and makes the whole process of life so much more easier. It has helped me get through a lot of negative things in my life. I still do have issues dealing with that negative side of me and try to, you know, tell it to shut up. And it's kind of hard sometimes, but that's all part of life, and it's all part of working through this negative, angry world and trying to put out more positive, loving energy. I also think a really important aspect to trying to be positive is find out what you love and do that. For me, I love going out and being in nature. I love going and swimming in the ocean. It's extremely relaxing for me. Those are the times when I feel the most happiest, the most calm, and so I did those things a lot. I've been going out in nature, going to the beach as much as I possibly can all the time, and it makes me happy. Like, I live in nature. I literally live in the middle of the jungle on a mountain, and it's amazing. It makes me happy to look outside my window right now and see all the trees. Do what you love, and don't listen to people discouraging you, and just show them that you can do these things, because so many people in my life told me I would never be able to do these things. People are surprised that I'm even keeping up with it, but it was a priority that I wanted to make in my life, and I wanted to better my life. And just because these people thought I couldn't do it doesn't mean I couldn't have, and that listening to them would have held me back. And so do what you intuitively feel is right for you, and don't listen to other people, because you can prove them all wrong. I will be talking about all of these little pieces in more detail in later videos. If you guys have any questions about these subjects that you want me to answer or anything, you can leave those down below. I hope you guys like this video. I hope you like this style of video. I don't know, I just like kind of sitting and chilling and like talking to you guys, because I feel like that's when my personality shows the most. Still a really like joking person. I'm very sarcastic. I'm not serious about 80% of the time, like I said earlier. So I don't know, I just like to have a lot of fun and be real with you guys, because I don't know, I feel like I have a lot of opinions about the world, and I have a lot of really crazy ideas. Hope you guys like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.